Good afternoon, beautiful people. You're welcome to today's Royal Afternoon edition, the last for the month of August 2023. My name is MAPALAH ZITA at Top Stories. The progress towards achieving universal health coverage in Africa with traditional medicine is on spotlight today as the world celebrates Africa Traditional Medicine Day.
The issue of traditional medicines, yes, I do take, and for side effects, there are no side effects from my own perspective because I've taken that. Yes, it is effective and even less expensive.
Traditional medicine is.
Plus, how well do you hydrate your body, or what do you know about hydration? Cameroonians will be answering that question in the course of this newscast. And out of the country, we will take you to South Africa, where over 70 people have died in the capital, Johannesburg, following a fire incident that broke out on a 5-story building. And in sports, Biwa Brian will be here with our sports page. Ladies and gentlemen, those were our top stories. Please stay with us. Good afternoon once again. You're welcome to the 2 p.m. news on 88.4 Royal FM. 2 decades of African traditional medicine, progress towards achieving universal health coverage in Africa is the theme under which this year's edition of Africa Traditional Medicine Day is being celebrated in Cameroon and across the African continent today. To mark this year's edition, the Lamamu Hospital Complex is sponsoring a special fair at the National Museum in Yaoundé, where African traditional medicine is being displayed to the general public. Here now is Dr. Peyundi Samba, working in collaboration with the Lamamu Hospital Complex, currently displaying some of his traditional medicine at the National Museum. He spoke to staffman Abel Belasamari.
It's important to help traditional medicines in Cameroon because here, everybody talks about conventional medicines. And usually they will say that everything that's traditional medicine is not good enough. And also for me, it's important to work with traditional healers to help them use very safe medications, you see, and medications that are efficient. So in doing so, I have to set a good example. So I went there, we had meetings. So I had to call traditional healers that they have to submit their product for research and see if the medicine is safe and is efficient, and also for doses, because everything has a dose. Even water, you see, if you go over a certain dose, it can kill you.
And still on African Traditional Medicine Day, how much do Cameroonians take traditional medicine and what are the side effects? That is the question our journalism intern Glory Gange put to some of them and compiled their views in this Vox Pop.
The issue of traditional medicines, yes, I do take, and for side effects, there are no side effects from my own perspective because I've taken that. Yes, it is effective and even less expensive.
Traditional medicine is something that I've never believed in because I believe that they are so barbaric, they are so fetish. By so doing, I have never taken any traditional medicine. Despite the condition I am, no, I better go to the hospital and take drugs. And I don't know how effective the medicine may function in the human system because I've never experienced it, and also the side effect.
Yes, I do take traditional medicine, mostly for some sicknesses like typhoid. Most people prefer traditional medicine in typhoid than this our drug. And the typhoid concoction that is being taken, it is bitter. It causes nausea, actually, serious nausea. I don't know whether it's for other people, but for me it causes nausea. Then there's this other concoction, this one that they sell in buses when you're traveling, but this one, it does not have any side effects.
Back to School 2023, the special page in the news.
And we are barely a few days for school to resume, and children will be starting their new academic year. Parents will also be organizing themselves on how their children will be sent to school and at up to what age they will be accompanied to their schools. Our student journalist Brenda Lumto tells us more about parents' decision on this issue in the following report.
The probability of parents sending their children to school at the age of 2 years is very low. Some parents will prefer sending their children to school at the age of 4 years without thinking on how to accompany them, since they will make sure that school is not far. Marinette, a mother of 3.
She will start going to school 5 years and she's going to school alone. Because she's mature of going to school alone. And it also depends the area of where the school is located. It's easy for her to go to school alone. Don't send me children in school less than. Because that's my own decision I've taken. Send my children in school at 5.
On the contrary, some parents will rather prefer accompanying their children till the age of 5 years before thinking on how they will go to school alone, being in class 1. Perpetua expresses herself.
As a parent, I stopped to go to school with my children at the age of 5 years. So at 5 years, the child is going to school alone. I will not go to school with him because at least she or he will be in class 1 and she'll be able to go to school by her own self.
Other parents choose to accompany their children to school till the age of 7 to 9 years old. That is when they observe that the child is matured enough to be left alone. They think that mother should be the appropriate one to accompany their children to school, as Kesia explains.
I think both parents, the person who has the chance to accompany the child to school, usually it used to be on the mother. So I, the parent, will accompany my child to school up to the age of, I think, from 7 years old, given that the probability that the school will be far from home is little. Well, you can come back alone. And I don't think we always have the time to go to school and come back. I think 7 years old is enough for a child to leave school and come back home alone.
Sending your children to school before or after age will not change the fact that children must be taken good care, as many parents prefer the age their children will be sent to school and on how they will be accompanied. The most important thing is to make sure your child never lacks anything.
And as schools resume in few days, children often carry along snacks to school. Where do these parents conserve the snacks for their children? Some of them have been revealing how they package the snacks of their children. Glory Ngange, our student journalist, gathered their various ways in this report.
Conserving food for children to take to school depends on the type of meal for the day. Some parents use bowls and plastic papers depending on what's on the menu. This is the case of these parents, one of them expressing herself in pidgin.
Depend the kind of snack, but normally people get forget this small bag with the one for hand for snacks. Then for inside that bag, that bowl we get cover.
I preserve them depending on the food I prepare for them on that day. If I'm preparing some particular food, something like plantain and egg and stuff, I'll put that in balls. But if it's just simple bread, I'll just be putting it in plastic.
To another parent, she begins every school year by acquiring many lunch boxes. This is because whatever the meal is, she conserves in a lunch box.
I, as a parent, what I've been doing since he has been in nursery school is that I'll buy these bowls, these lunch boxes. I will store his food inside. Any food, it can be fried egg and plantain, it can be fried egg and Irish. That's how I do store his food. It can be pancake, but it's still in those bowls.
As well, this parent says conserving her children's food in a bowl looks neat and healthy.
My children's food, I preserve them in a bowl because in a bowl it's more good. Because if you put it in a plastic is not good because it's not good for her. So it's better to preserve your children's food in the bowl because you will not dirty their back and it look neat. And when they will eat, they will come back and wash the dish.
Whatever the means of conservation is, parents always endeavor that their children go to school with snacks to avoid them from learning with empty stomachs.
And as the 2023-2024 academic year will be opening on September the 4th of 2023, pedagogues have called on students and teachers to be in classes at the first day of school resumption. Details with Eratus Ndui.
As boutiques and bus stations crowd itself with parents who either travel or wait as stationaries to take their students back to school in preparation for the Back to School 2023, which takes teams on Monday, September 4th, pedagogue cautions students on the importance of attending classes on the first day of school resumption. Polenji Silvanus is the teacher and the Tanto Eric is the principal of the government bilingual high school, Awai Village.
When students begin classes the first day, it is very, very important for them because they get the knowledge that they ought to get, and they understand the teachers right from the first day, which will be possible to understand them throughout.
Those students that will come during the first days of resumption, we call them serious students, and this seriousness will be seen in their performance. Coming to school during the first days of resumption will be a motivation to the students and even to the administration.
A motivation that can be seen in the handling of pedagogy classes, easy teaching of the side of the teachers, and the creation of convivial atmosphere. But this won't be possible if the students neglect this pre-moon stage.
It will create laziness in the students. Students who will not be there during the first days of resumption will already miss something psychologically, and that will be reflected in their performance during the year and in the end of year official exams. And even discipline will be a problem to those students because they will not be aware of what is going on and they'll be doing their own things. And you know, teaching learning goes with discipline.
On the part of the teachers, they have to be disciplined enough to respect the school curriculum for a better academic school year.
Teachers who will do everything to be there during the first days of resumption and ensure that from the first day of the academic year resumption, they will start teaching and students will be there learning. It will be reflected in the performance at the end of the year. So teachers as well as students should do everything to be in school during the first days of resumption. That will give a learning atmosphere.
Therefore, only 3 days are left for parents, teachers, and the students to finalize with the necessary preparations for a succinct back-to-school year.
Back to School 2023, that was our special page in the news.
And still to come in this newscast, how often do you hydrate your body, or what do you know about hydration?
Hydration is the ability of drinking water daily. That means a normal human being has to drink at least 3 liters of water daily.
If you were just tuning in, you're listening to the 2 p.m. news on 88.4 Royal FM and watching us live on Facebook at Royal FM Cameroon. Head of State President Paul Biya has signed a decree outlining major axes where the 2024 state budget should pay more attention. Reading through that decree signed yesterday, Evans Williamson Jobati revisits some of these major aspects in this report.
Getting hold of the decree signed on August 30th yesterday by the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, relating to the preparations of the state budget for the 2024 financial year, begins by presenting the country's macroeconomic context, the objectives on general public action, while orientating the budgetary policy to its accomplishment. Also, the decree takes into consideration the post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan as stated by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, last December 2021. Instead, the decree wishes to recorrect the sub-Saharan African tension inflationary pressures, which throughout the last couple of months has been acting as a demise on the country's economic, and that it should be increased from 3.9% to 3.6% in the years to come. At the national level, the decree looks to supply 3.8% in 2023 against 4.2% for development of activities in all 10 regions. As such, programs to reconstruct all 3 regions in crisis, such as the Northwest, Southwest, Far North and Far North, while maintaining safety and health in particular. With regards to investment expenditure works aimed at ensuring that it is included in the investment budget leads exclusively to the gross fixed capital formation. In order to do this, the head of state demands a 2% capital amount increase on resources in ordinary internal budgeting in 2023 and should be incorporated as credit carryovers as a means to cover the 2024 expenses to be encountered. As of now, the proposition decree is at the National Assembly while waiting for it to be validated.
The annual registration on voters register for 2023 comes to an end today. This aims at encouraging Cameroonians who are not yet enrolled on the electoral register to go to their council branches and register before midnight. Now, have Cameroonians registered actually or gotten their voters' cards already? Our reporter Angwa interviewed some inhabitants in Yaoundé and compiled their views in this report.
Today marks the end of the annual electoral voters registration in Cameroon. Inhabitants who are not yet enrolled in the electoral register are called upon to register before midnight. Tatiana, a registered citizen, gives her appraisal.
In that it gives you the right to vote for your candidate, and it's also a way of showing democracy, right? Because you have that opportunity to choose who should be your leader tomorrow. You have the opportunity to vote for your own candidate, so it's very important.
Furthermore, Cameroonians express mixed feelings as some haven't yet registered. Delanche explains why.
Just haven't registered because I just believe Cameroon as a whole, the most powerful always wins. No matter what you vote, to get the voter's card and trying to get into the voting system is like a waste of time. Because I believe the one with the higher power always wins. The voting at times is like formality, just formalities for people to feel they have said something when.
In addition, Emmanuel expressed his dissatisfaction for getting the information only today and recommends that effective communication should be done during the next annual electoral voters register.
I'm really shocked he's getting to know about the end of the registration period when it's already the end of the registration period. And this is the problem, because this is something that needs to be publicized and let people understand the benefits of them, getting involved with the voting and the electoral registration process. Because if you don't register, you will not be able to vote. And this is the problem we have. People are supposed to be educated on this thing, billboards made and churches everywhere.
Hence, some inhabitants have registered and gotten their voters' cards, but others haven't yet and intend to do so next year.
Angwa in that report. Away from politics, today, August the 31st, marks the International Overdose Awareness Day, which is the world's largest annual campaign to end overdose. The International Overdose Awareness Day was initiated in 2001 by Sally J. Finn with the aim of raising awareness on the dangers of overdose and also remember those who have died without stigma, as well as acknowledge the grief of the family and friends left behind. Overdose is a public health crisis which entails having more of a drug or combination of drugs than your body can cope with. World Overdose Awareness Day is also an occasion to stimulate actions and discussions about evidence-based overdose prevention and drug policy. This year's edition has as theme recognizing those who go unseen. The Secretary General of the Commonwealth Telecommunication Organization has promised to accompany Cameroon's digital transformation journey by opening new opportunities for young people in the ICT field. Bernadette Lewis was speaking in Yaoundé during the official launching ceremony of the Digital Week chaired by the Minister of Post and Telecommunication, Minette Libom Lilikeng. The one-week event to take place in Yaoundé from the 16th to the 20th of October this year will be on the sidelines of the 61st Council of the Commonwealth Telecommunication Forum. Here now is Minister Minette Libom Lilikeng speaking to state media.
The event we are announcing for October are very important for Cameroon. Commonwealth Telecommunication Organization would head his council in Cameroon, but to really support Cameroon in the digital transformation, they propose all those activities, 3 months. Cameroon Futurescape, a forum for youth, and then ministerial and parliamentarian conference. The main objectives is that young people are more ready to use ICT tools, but they are not in charge of taking decisions. It means that we need to demonstrate to all the strength of a society that ICT can enhance all what you are doing. Our hope and our prayer is that when people in charge of decision will see that futurescape, they will really be engaged, everybody in his sector, to introduce ICT so that the digital transformation of Cameroon will be a reality.
Hydration is the body's ability to absorb water, the vital liquid it needs, and is based on how much is available to it. Every cell, tissue, and organ requires fluid to perform functions such as maintaining temperature, disposing of waste products, and lubricating joints. This absorption of water is primarily done through drinking liquids, preferably water, but around 20% of our intake comes from food as well. What do Cameroonians understand about hydration? That is the question our student journalist Bate Bridget tried to find out from some of them in this report.
Fondasa begins by explaining what she thinks hydration is all about.
Hydration is like causing something to absorb water. By that means like we the human system needs water, so we need hydration, like we need to absorb it.
Provided with what he assumed hydration constitutes of.
More than 90-80% of our body is made of water. We always lament ourselves drinking alcohol, but with all that, the body still needs water.
While others have been given what they feel hydration is all about, others say they doubt what it is.
If I tell you I know, that means I am lying. I really doubt what hydration is all about.
However, hydration means water, and they say water is life, but it should be noted that excess water causes the body's salt level to go down and the cell to swell.
Out of Cameroon, the death toll from a fire that engulfed a 5-story building early today in the central Marshalltown neighborhood in Johannesburg, South Africa, has risen to at least 73. According to Johannesburg Emergency Services, over 50 people were also injured and have been transported to various healthcare facilities for medical attention. In the meantime, search and recovery operations are reportedly still ongoing, while firefighters have successfully put out the flames. Several top state personalities within and out of Africa, as well as international organizations, have condemned the coup in Gabon, calling for a return of a democratic constitutional order. Mutinous soldiers yesterday proclaimed their Republican Guard Chief Brice Clotaire Oligui as the country's leader after placing President Ali Bongo under house arrest. In a video from detention in his residence, Ali Bongo called on people to make noise to support him, but crowds who took to the streets in the capital, Libreville, rather celebrated the coup against a dynasty accused of getting rich on the country's resource wealth, while many of its citizens suffered. Worth noting that the new military leader, who is cousin to President Ali Bongo, used to be the bodyguard of late President Omar Bongo. He was also head of the Secret Service in 2019 before becoming head of the Republican Guard. Let's come back to Talk Sports. The Cameroon Football Federation has set a minimum wage for players and coaches in Cameroon's top 2 football leagues. This was made known in a communique signed by the Secretary General of FECAFOOT. Biwa Brian with the details.
In a progressive move to attain professionalism and better player conditions, the Football Federation has ordered clubs in the Men Top Flight Championship to pay a minimum of 250,000 francs as salary for coaches, while their second-tier counterparts receive 150,000 francs. In addition to the minimum wage for players in the Elite One Championship, set to 200,000 francs and 75,000 francs for Elite 2 players, without limiting the opportunity to just male players. In the women's category, elite players will have their minimum wage set to 50,000 francs. With the recent input wage payment, sportsmen in the country put a question mark on the capabilities of these clubs to respect this new development.
With the recent situation of our clubs, do they have the capacities to pay players this much as the federation indicates? That is where the big question comes in. Emphasis should be laid on getting more sponsorship deals for the respective clubs, maybe viewership rights and all of that.
The question now is posed on how clubs would respect these allocations. What are the measures that FECAFOOT is willing to put such that these amounts are paid out to the respective actors, the coaches and all alike? And I have one problem too with the Guinness Super League. The document doesn't carry the fee to be paid to coaches of the Guinness Super League.
With projections of questions which make the new move by FECAFOOT doubtful, others see the positives of the new rules set by FECAFOOT.
I think that the wages set by FECAFOOT
is going to affect players positively, and not only the players, the coaches and the football clubs in general. One, because the players are there's going to be a reduction of fraud and gambling among the players. It is painful to discover that a greater number of players in Cameroon and the world at large gamble because of the frustration of the little package or the little token that they receive from their club.
For people who know be footballer, them they say it plenty, because you know be footballer, you know they for their shoe, you know say these people they get family. Some of them they chop, they end their living. Some of them are breadwinner for their family.
As stipulated by the communique dated August 29, the new measures will be implemented in the 2023-2024 football season.
And the Confederation of African Football has decided that Yaoundé will not host Cameroon's 2023 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. This comes after the Cameroon Football Federation, together with the National Infrastructures Management Body, had submitted the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium as an option. However, with Yaoundé out, 2 stadiums in Douala were approved alongside one other in Garoua. Claude Bauken, good afternoon.
Bon après-midi, MAPALAH ZITA.
You have a summary of this newscast in the French language.
Inscription sur les listes électorales. Ce 31 août marque la clôture des opérations. Les citoyens ont jusqu'à minuit pour se rendre dans les antennes communales de leur lieu de résidence. Éducation, rentrée scolaire 2023-2024, plus que 3 jours pour la reprise des cours, fixée au 4 septembre 2023 à 7h30. Les préparatifs vont bon train. Pour une rentrée scolaire sans difficulté, il est recommandé aux élèves d'assister au tout premier cours. Au-delà de nos frontières, Afrique du Sud, un immeuble R+1 à Johannesburg est parti en fumée. Près de 70 personnes ont trouvé la mort. Les causes de cet incendie n'ont pas encore été déterminées. En sport, récompense des acteurs du sport. La Fédération camerounaise de football a fixé le salaire des coachs de première division à 250 000 francs CFA. Pour ce qui est des coachs de la deuxième division, il est de 150 000 francs CFA. Le salaire des joueurs de première division reste à 200 000 francs CFA.